And good morning, everybody. Jeremy Brunansky here with Brunansky's Vlog. Good morning. It's Monday morning. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I know we got the holiday here this weekend here in the States for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I hope you guys were able to enjoy the long weekend if you had the day off today. Thank you for joining me this morning. As always, we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to jump right into a number of things this morning. We're going to take a look at the weekend box office. We're going to touch just a little bit on what happened this weekend with the NFL. And we're also going to take a look kind of at some of the stats that were made. I know this isn't really a sports show, but we had some pretty big stats come in this weekend that I just wanted to mention real quick. We won't spend a lot of time because, like I said, this is not a sports show. We talk movies on here, but did just want to mention it real quick. We're also going to take a look at just one news story from back in the day because I got something that I got my hands on finally that I've been waiting to read. So I'm going to share that with you as well. That correlates back to last year, back in April of last year. Actually, I finally got my hands on a book back from April of last year. So we're going to talk about that as well. But real quick, before we do all that, if you're new to the show, go ahead and consider clicking subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notifications. If at any point during the show you enjoy any of the topics or anything like that, go ahead and give me the thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for joining me again. Now, real quick, we have, like I said, just a couple things we're going to take a look at as far as news stories are concerned, plus the weekend box office. All of these articles that we're going to talk about are down below in the description box. So hit the little arrow, expand the description box, and you'll be able to see all of the different articles and everything like that if you want to follow along with us. Plus, if you have any interest in starting your own YouTube channel, your own Twitch stream, Facebook Live, IGTV, whatever the case may be, I threw some recommendations down below as well for just some entry-level gear to get you started, to get your content out on the interwebs. So go ahead and check those out as well. Excuse me. And we are going to go ahead and move right now into just some weekend box office as well as everything else. So before we do that, though, back in April, it was announced that Steven Spielberg was going to be tackling a DC comic book movie. And that was, this article's down below. It's from the Hollywood Reporter. And that was going to be for Blackhawk. Blackhawk was a golden age of comic books story that ran from Military Comics. And it was about a pilot and his team battling Nazis. And I was not familiar with this comic book at all. I didn't know anything about it. But I was like, if Steven Spielberg thinks that this comic book is good enough to put his name on, I should probably check it out. And I am happy to report that I finally got my hands on a copy. So there it is. Boom. So I'm looking forward to reading this guy. Blackhawk. That's what it looks like, right? Back in the golden age. So looking forward to reading this. Glad I got my hands on this finally so I can check these stories out, see what it is about these characters and everything else that kind of piqued his interest and made him go, this is definitely something I would be interested in making a movie about. So looking forward to that for sure. So go ahead and check that article out. Like I said, it's from April of last year, but I finally got my hands on a copy of Blackhawk, the first volume. So all those early stuff. So I can take a look at that. So pretty happy about that. All right, and then before we jump into the weekend box office, let's just take a look at what happened this weekend to the NFL, right? Because there was the big playoff games for the division championships before we move into the Super Bowl. And I didn't get to watch all of it. I did get to see parts here and there. So when I was talking with my pops about some of the stats, I was like, this is pretty good stuff. Like, we should probably just mention this real quick just on this show, because it's, they did some pretty good things yesterday as far as both teams are concerned. So with the Patriots won. So congratulations first to the Patriots and the Rams, because you guys are going to the Super Bowl. That's incredible. But with the Patriots, they are now the third team to have 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances since 1966. So 3 years, 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, and they joined the ranks with the Bills and the Dolphins. So they are, since 1966, 3 consecutive Super Bowl showings. So congratulations to them as well. The next one does lay heavy on my heart. I was not too happy about this next stat. As a Steelers fan myself, the Patriots did tie the Steelers for the most wins in postseason history. So I guess congratulations to the Patriots as well for that. That one lays heavy on my heart as a Steelers fan. Hate to see that the Patriots are now tied with us for most wins in postseason history. That's kind of shocking, but hey, you know what? They won it, so they get the credit. There it is for that one. All right, next up, we're going to take a look real quick just at what happened with the Saints here as well, because man, that one play towards the end, that was definitely pass interference. I don't know how that didn't get called, and that was crazy. If you saw the replays, you know exactly the play I'm talking about towards the end of the game. That guy was like right there on the 2-yard line. That was definitely pass interference. Anyway, we're going to take a look. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So the Rams are now 12-0 when recording multiple sacks in a game this season. So what does that mean? That means if they are able to sack Brady a couple times, they could very easily be the championship just based on their stats for sacks. So interesting. Looking forward to seeing the Super Bowl and seeing how many QB sacks they're able to pull off, because 12-0 when recording multiple sacks in a game is pretty impressive stat. Also, Jared Goff and Drew Brees very close as far as the stats were concerned, and their pass rating. Their pass rating was very similar as well. Jared Goff, obviously first round pick in 2016 for the Los Angeles Rams when they became the Los Angeles Rams and they switched over from St. Louis. And he had a really good game. Like I said, his stats were very similar, very close to Drew Brees, who's one of the best in the game. Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, as far as my opinion is concerned. So to see him come in like that and really put up a showing with stats that are comparable to Drew Brees, pretty impressive. Curious if the Rams are going to be building a franchise around this kid, because he's a pretty good quarterback from the looks of it. Drew Brees, though, had some big stats. Even though they didn't win, he still came in with the 5th most passing touchdowns in NFL history. So, and he just passed Dan Marino on that one. So congratulations, Drew Brees there. And also he threw he threw touchdown passes to 15 different players this season. So Drew Brees really spreading the love out as far as touchdown passes are concerned. And that put him in with the most touchdown passes in NFL history to different players. So 15 different players received touchdown passes from Drew Brees this season. Phenomenal job spreading out the love. If you play fantasy football and you had Drew Brees on your team, I'm sure you were really happy with the stats he was putting up. All right, that's enough football for this show. Let's go ahead and move into the actual movie conversations. But again, congratulations to the Rams. Congratulations to the Patriots. Looking forward to seeing what the Rams defense can do against the Patriots offense. And if they're able to go 13-0 with multiple sacks in the game, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, let's move right now into this week and take a look at kind of what films were hitting theaters and what were you guys watching. I got out to the theater to see one film. I got out to see Vice. That review is up on the channel right now. So if you want to check it out, go to the movie review playlist. You can check out my thoughts on Vice. Really enjoyed it. Adam McKay continues to do a really good job with the stories that deal with real life things and how he is able to deliver that story in a very comprehensive and understandable way when the topic that he's covering is pretty complex, right? So definitely enjoyed Vice. Check out my review for more. Again, that's on the movie review playlist on this channel. All right. So real quick, let's take a look at what you guys saw. Coming in the top 5, we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse at 7,255,000. Number 4 is Aquaman at 10,330,000. Number 3 is Dragon Ball Super Broly. I hope I pronounced that right, at 10,652,565. Number 2 is The Upside at 15,670,000. And coming in at number 1 is Glass with $40,586,000. So job well done to Glass, wrapping up the trilogy. Still need to see this one. It looks interesting. It looks good. So I still want to see this one. Still want to see The Upside. But let's take a look at the top 5. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, my review's up for that right now. My review for Aquaman also up on the channel, so you can check out my thoughts for those. But definitely not surprised to see both of these films still in the top 5. There's not a lot of competition. There's not a lot of other films out there that are really going to stand toe-to-toe with these, because not just the title, the brand, right, of Spider-Man and Aquaman and DC Comics and Marvel Comics, but the films themselves are really good. They're really good stories. The animation in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, if you're faithful watchers of the show, you know I'm a huge fan of the animation in this film. It looked great. The colors are vibrant. Everything really popped and came to life on screen. And it was just a very different animation style that I'm used to seeing, and it really paid off. I thought it was a really good movie. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. Aquaman. Story, again, I really enjoyed the story. There were some parts in the film that were kind of hit and miss for me. But overall, I thought the movie was really well done. It really surprised me at how much I enjoyed it. And I definitely recommend you guys check it out as well. Dragon Ball Super Broly. What on earth happened? Where did this come from? I didn't even know that there was a Dragon Ball movie. Like, I saw this and I was like, is this like a Fandango event? Like, is this Fathom Events? Like, What is going on? Like, was this a special thing? No, it was a legit release. Apparently the Dragon Ball Z fan base is very faithful, and they got out in mass to support their film, because over $10 million on a film that I didn't even know was being released. Opening weekend animation. This must have been just some very like in the know kind of folks, right? With Dragon Ball Z. These have got to be some really hardcore fans that knew about this film and everything else. Because I saw this, I was like, Dragon Ball Super. What is a Dragon Ball Super? And then when I pulled it up, I was like, oh, it's a Dragon Ball Z anime film. Okay. So to see it coming at number 3 opening weekend with approximately over 10 million, that's very impressive. So congratulations to everybody who's a fan of this franchise and these anime films, because you guys got out in force. So to support your film, so job well done. The Upside, still looking forward to this. It's still getting positive buzz online and on TV. You see the commercials, right? #1 comedy in America. So looking forward to seeing The Upside so I can deliver my thoughts to you guys on this channel. And Glass, a trilogy, right? The trilogy that people didn't even know was being set up, but here we are, right? It's wrapping up the other films really nicely from what I'm guessing, because it came in at #1 with $40 million on a budget of $20 million. So not only did it make its money back, but now it's officially making money. So job well done. Universal's got to be happy with Glass. Because in its first week, it made its investment back, and now it's making money. So going forward, everything else is cha-ching, money in the bank. Put it in your pocket, take it home, and enjoy your day, M. Night Shyamalan. So job well done to him on Glass and wrapping up this trilogy. Looking forward to possibly seeing this on the big screen too. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, but definitely looking forward to The Upside. Real quick in the top 10, we got number 10, On the Basis of Sex. Number 9, Bumblebee. Number 8, Mary Poppins Returns. Number 7, Escape Room. Number 6, A Dog's Way Home. Not too surprising as far as the top 10 is concerned either. Mary Poppins, really good stuff. You can check out my review for Mary Poppins and Bumblebee. Bumblebee, in my opinion, might be the best Transformers film in the Transformers franchise. Had a lot of fun in Bumblebee. Very surprised at how good the story was and how good the movie was in general. So definitely, if you haven't seen that yet, check that out on the biggest screen possible. Worth it. Real quick, On the Basis of Sex. This one is interesting to me because of it also, I'm going to compare it to Green Book, right? Because both of these films, stories based on real life people, real life events. And what we're seeing here, and this is why I'm saying they're kind of comparable, because they're both limited release and then they went wide, right? So with these films kind of being based more on real life people, being more dramatic, being more the Oscar pool, right? The Oscar nominated films, trying to get those votes in. We can kind of say that these films are comparable, right? So they're kind of comparable. So real quick, Green Book in its 10th week, On the Basis of Sex in its 4th week. On the Basis of Sex was pumped into 34 more theaters approximately, according to Box Office Mojo, and it lost money. So it went into more theaters, but less people seemed to get out to see it, versus Green Book, which went into about another 170 theaters, and it made money in its 10th week. So Green Book really is standing strong. It's really got some legs here. Green Book had a budget of about 23 million. It's now made over 40 million. So it's pretty close to breaking even in its 10th week. So job well done to everybody involved in Green Book. I know I'm still looking forward to this. But when you look at it in its 10th week, it's still being moved into more theaters for more people to see. And then it is plus 5% over the previous week. Something is definitely going right for this film, right? Something is definitely going right. So congratulations to Green Book. If you've seen Green Book, go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comment section and let me know, what did you think about this film? Because in its 10th week, still being added to theaters, and to see a plus 5% bump from week 9 to week 10, that's a really positive sign for this film, versus On the Basis of Sex in its 4th week, being added to films and then seeing a drop of, let's see here, what was it? A drop of over 30%. So definitely people are getting out to see Green Book versus On the Basis of Sex. But let me know, did you see both of these films, right? Because these are the more comparable films with story being based on real life people, blah, blah, blah. Throw your comments in the comments section below. Let me know, what did you think about these films? Are these numbers an accurate representation of how good the films are? Let me know in the comments below. All right, and real quick, just wanted to touch on Replicas. I was going to go see Replicas because we talked about this last week. Oh, also, With Glass, I forgot to mention this before we move on. With Glass had a CinemaScore of a B, but then when you pull up Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 16% rotten and a 43% fresh. So just like with The Upside, and we talked about these before, right? These movies that come out where the audience has an expectation of what the film is going to be that is completely different than what the critics are looking at, right? So with The Upside, with Escape Room, the critic score, not great, right? Absolutely garbage critic scores, but the user scores, the audience score, the CinemaScore, really positive stuff, right? The audience, when we go in to see the movie, we have an expectation of what that film is going to be, and the film delivers, right? So it gets a positive Rotten Tomatoes score from us as users. It gets a positive CinemaScore from us as viewers, but then the critics have a completely different opinion on the film they watch. It's almost like we're watching two different films. And the same thing happened with Glass, right? So Glass came in and oh, sorry, that was a different number. Glass came in with an 81 my goodness. My numbers are all screwed up. Give me 1 second. Glass came in at a 36% rotten and a 78% fresh audience score. So 36% rotten, 78% fresh. So again, just like what we saw with The Upside, what we saw with Escape Room is happening here with Glass. The critics saw a completely different movie than what we saw. And it just, you just kind of wonder what was their expectation going into this film, and what happened that they looked at it and kind of went, no, versus what everybody else did that just saw it, that's just a fan of these types of films, or a fan of M. Night Shyamalan and Kevin Hart and everybody else that's involved in these 3 different films, where we went, yeah, this is actually really good. We don't know what you're talking about, critics. This was a pretty good movie, and it delivered on exactly what we wanted it to deliver on. But real quick, let's take a look at Replica, because Replica was a film I was going to go see because it's Keanu Reeves. It's a sci-fi action flick, right? And it was, it did not do great last week. If you remember, when it came out last week, it only made like $2 million. This week, it made $450,000. It had an 81% drop from week 1 to week 2, which is insane, right? Keanu Reeves, big action star, people. I was looking forward to this film. I almost went to see it, and then I found out that my nephews had a baseball game, a little league baseball game. It was their first game of the season, and they're both old enough that they're in a pitching league now, right? So they don't have the pitching machine. They feel more like, actual like baseball players, since they have a real pitcher. The kids are pitching to each other and stuff like that. So I went to go see my nephews play baseball, and I think I made the right decision for more than one reason. But Replicas, with an 81% drop from week 1 to week 2, less than $500,000 in its second week. And my goodness, this film pulled in a rotten score of 10% and a rotten score of 43% from the users. So critics did not like it. The fans of these franchises did not like it. And as far as CinemaScore goes, CinemaScore gave it a C. So C is a little bit better than the Rotten Tomato scores, right? Because C is kind of average, but still not great. That's still not something you want to advertise on any of your commercials or any of your posters or anything like that. CinemaScore users rating or viewers gave it a C. Like, that's not something you want to advertise, right? So really curious as to what happened with this film, because like we talked about last time, it really didn't make much money. I think last week it only made like 2.5 million, and it's a Keanu Reeves film. It's sci-fi action, right? He's got John Wick 3 coming out, so this is kind of like, let's get us excited about more Keanu Reeves films. And then it tanks. It just tanks, absolutely tanks. So very curious as to what happened here. Kind of happy I didn't go see it. Kind of happy I did stick with my gut and go see and cheer on my nephews with their little league baseball game. But yeah, this film, my goodness, what a bomb. Is it worse than Holmes and Watson? It might be, right? This might be the worst film box office wise with big name stars, right? Big name stars. It might be the worst one of the year so far. Replicas might be worse than Holmes and Watson. We'll have to wait and see on that, but my goodness, what a stink. And I'm not sure what happened. Like I said, right? Keanu Reeves, great talent, big action star when he wants to be, right? And then you got the sci-fi theory kind of cloning or whatever, like bringing people back as, them, but not them. Like, it just looked interesting. The trailers looked interesting. So not sure what happened. The movie clearly can't deliver. But not, like I said, I don't know if that's Keanu Reeves or if it's just bad marketing or if it's the bad story or the directing wasn't good. We'll have to wait and see. But Replicas really is just not not where I thought it was going to be at all. So is Replicas the worst film of 2019 so far? It's looking like it. Looking like that might be the worst, and then right below it might be Holmes and Watson, but haven't seen either of them. But just from the numbers and just from the CinemaScore and just from Rotten Tomatoes, strong arguments are being made for these two films being the stinkers of 2019. So, man, what a mess. All right, but that is going to pretty much take care of the weekend box office for us. Yeah, there was just a lot of really good stuff in the theater, and I thought some of these other films that were coming out were going to be equally good, right? Holmes and Watson look good, Replicas look good, and just to see them tank like that, very surprising, very surprising. But out of the top 10, On the Basis of Sex, Bumblebee, you should definitely see. Mary Poppins Returns, you should definitely see. The music in it is really good. The animation sequences, very good. Emily Blunt does a great job as Mary Poppins. Escape Room, Sony, right? We've talked about this before. A budget of $9 million. It's now made over $40 million. So Sony's got to be really happy with Escape Room. The people who like these types of young adult kind of thriller, psychological thriller, horror movies, looks like it's working. Looks like it's working. So again, we've said it before on the show. We'll continue to say it. Don't be surprised if you see Escape Room 2 get greenlit. That's just looking like the way it's going to go, because I don't know why Sony wouldn't remake or wouldn't make a sequel and a follow-up to a film that has made so much more money for them over what they probably projected it was going to do. So there you go. Dog's Way Home. Again, looks like it's just a fun family film. And it is continuing to make money. It's got about $21 million right now on a budget of about $18 million. So it looks like it's getting close to making its money back. We'll have to wait and see on that. But you should definitely check out Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You should definitely check out Aquaman. And I know I am still looking forward to seeing The Upside. So if you've seen those films, you should definitely leave your comments in the comments section below and let me know what your thoughts were as far as the weekend box office is concerned. Let me know if the numbers in the Rotten Tomatoes score and the cinema scores are all accurate representations of how much you enjoyed or how much you did not enjoy the films. Leave your critiques down below and share your thoughts in the comments section. Again, I'm Jeremy Brunansky. This is Brunansky's Vlog. If you enjoyed it, give me the thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. Also, if you're new, don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell so you get the notifications when new content drops. Don't forget to check out the movie review playlist. You can check out my thoughts on Vice, as well as many, many other films that are up there right now. Also, down below, since it's 2019, I wrote 2 articles, and both of those are up on my blog. You can see it 2018 and 2019 in the description box. One article is looking back at last year, since we're still in January, looking back at last year and going, these were the films that we saw. What were they as far as the high points and the low points were concerned? Where did they fall? I give you my thoughts on 2018. And then 2019, now that we're in a brand new year, we've got even more films coming out that we can be excited about. So I give you my thoughts on 2019. What films are coming out that we can be looking forward to? What are some of the high points for me? What are some of the films I'm just curious about? And what are some of the trailers that we have to look forward to from films that are coming out that haven't released trailers yet, right? So check both of those articles out. Again, they're down below Brunansky's blog right there in the description box, along with all of the other topics that we covered today, including everything that's going on with the Steven Spielberg Blackhawk movie. So again, got my copy right here. Looking forward to checking this out, reading these stories, and kind of figuring out what it is about this character and these adventures that really piqued Steven Spielberg's interest. Got my copy. Looking forward to reading it and finding out more. All right, everybody. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on another special edition. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you, if you had the day off, hope you enjoyed your long holiday weekend. Hope you guys have a great Martin Luther King Day. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great time out there. Get out and see some movies, because as we just talked about from that weekend box office report, there's a lot of great films out that you can go see today, right when this ends. Hit up that car, drive over to the theater and check these films out, because they're waiting for you. Some of these are pretty good. And then come back and let me know what you thought about those films in the comments section below. Or you can go to the movie review that I did on the films and leave your thoughts based on my review. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on the movie after you've seen them? Hit up the comments section under the reviews for the films I've reviewed on that playlist. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm Jeremy Brunansky. I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And as always, and until next time, good night and good luck. See you next time.